Though the political entity of Aksum fell, its legacy lived on, sparking new dawns in Ethiopian history. In the centuries after the fall, the torch of civilization passed to new dynasties that drew inspiration and legitimacy from Aksum's memory. By the 12th century, the Zagwe dynasty ruled the northern highlands. These kings, though not of Solomonic blood, embraced Aksum's Christian heritage fervently. King Lalibela famously built a dozen monolithic churches carved out of solid rock at Lalibela, which he intended as a New Jerusalem. The architectural style of these 12th–13th century churches is telling. Many features, like their finely carved false windows, intentionally imitate Aksumite designs. In one church, Bete Golgotha, there are even carvings of Aksumite crosses and motifs that likely came from Aksum's influence. This was a direct nod to the revered past. The Solomonic dynasty was re-established in 1270 AD under Emperor Yakuno Amlak, claiming descent from the last Aksumite kings and ultimately from Menelik I. This restoration meant that Ethiopian kingship once again wrapped itself in the mantle of Aksum's mythic and religious prestige. They literally moved the capital south, eventually to places like Gondar much later, but spiritually they moved back to Aksum. Coronations of Solomonic emperors were traditionally held in Aksum at the Church of Mary of Zion to legitimize their rule in the eyes of the nation. The Ethiopian church remained the same one founded in Aksum, keeping Ge'ez as its sacred language, maintaining the ancient liturgy and customs. The Ark of the Covenant legend continued to galvanize national pride. Medieval emperors would march out the tablet in processions, just as Aksumite kings did. In texts and chronicles, Ethiopia's medieval scribes wrote of Aksum with immense reverence, calling it things like our Zion and foundation of the kingdom. The concept of Ethiopia was Aksum extended. They used the name to link themselves to biblical prophecies. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God. Even technologically and culturally, there was continuity. Terraced farming, church-building techniques, and arts like manuscript illumination have through lines from Aksum. While much of Africa saw different paths, the highlands of Ethiopia stood apart, preserving an unbroken chain of Christian tradition from Aksum's time. In summary, the fall of Aksum gave rise to a cultural rebirth. The old empire's end was the beginning of Ethiopia's next chapter, with new kings but the same soul. Today's Ethiopia venerates Aksum as its cradle. The ruins, the language, the faith, and the imperial ideals, all a cherished inheritance that continues to inform Ethiopian identity.